If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
All right, we come into this, the Squared Circle Digest. Hell in the Cell, just hours away. Sean Stanley here in beautiful Miami Gardens. Humble abode. Got a lot going on here tonight. Right now, I guess the story, and I've been out for a couple of hours, so I haven't been on Twitter real recent. But the big news is Cody Rhodes, injured working out, was pulled from the card last night, the live show last night. Did do the run-in. All signs point to him as a go tonight, but it will be interesting to see if Cody does go tonight. There's been some concern. There was the injury. You heard it while lifting weights, apparently. At least that's the report from Dave Meltzer. We'll have to see how serious the injury is. Will he be a go for the Hell in the Cell match? Frankie Fresco, how you doing, sir? And because tonight, remember, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes 3, behind the steel cage. That's right. They'll be in Hell in a Cell. And this build-up for this match has been phenomenal. That is all I will say. And I think it goes more to Cody and Seth working and having a say. Because when you look at a lot of the programs, and by program I mean angles and everything that they run in WWE, the ones that usually hit the best are the ones where guys actually have say and in the program itself. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, right? Most of the stuff Roman Reigns does and the Bloodline does is pretty good because they have a bigger say in their things. And yeah, I mean, yeah, CM Punk's out, surgery. The title will not be held up. They're going to put an interim title. It'll be John Moxley against the winner of a battle royal. So we'll see what happens there. Steve Chapman, hey, your Celtics are a priority, buddy. I would be watching them as well. Or you could do like me, and I threw it on my phone. I'd have the Celtics on the big TV. I'd have the phone on Hell in a Cell. But hey, that's just me, man. But I know all your focus has got to be on your Celtics tonight. Hopefully they'll go up 2-0. Frankie, again, I think they painted themselves in the corner right now with MJF. This whole shoot work, what's going on there? You pulled him off of your roster. You pulled his merchandise off. You can't turn around and throw him in a battle royal and have him go after the heavyweight title. I mean, you have to ride this out at this point. I mean, if that is what they're doing, again, some people are like, oh, it's a straight shoot. Some people are like, no, I think it started as a shoot and has turned into a work. But now with the injury to CM Punk, that kind of changes everything. So it's going to be interesting there. But again, I want to try to keep this as much as possible to the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view that is going on tonight. And again, Cody Rhodes was injured working out, apparently, is what the story's going around. Don't know if it's a work or anything else. Again, I've not seen Cody Rhodes myself. I know he was held out of the live event, and the live event was told that he was injured, but he did make a save at the end. So maybe they were just holding him off because they didn't want to add any extra, let the damage happen at Hell in the Cell. And now maybe this changes the way Hell in the Cell goes, right? Because to me, I think Cody Rhodes automatically is winning this match. Now it goes to, Do they do the storyline of Seth taking Cody out for a while? Or do they just, again, if Cody goes, and then, or do they play it that Cody gets injured during the match and he'll be out for a while due to surgery? Do you think it's time they push MJF? I think it was long time ago. Let's see. But I will say they're insulting our intelligence expects to believe that Natalya has any chance at all against. Yeah. No. I mean, I will tell you right now, I don't expect any titles to change hands tonight. Maybe. It is Ali's hometown. Theory, maybe they drop that title. I don't think the undisputed tag team titles get dropped. And we'll get more into that here tonight. Frankie asks, what are you excited for tonight? Honestly, it's the Hell in the Cell and it's the triple threat. And I want to see how they work this 2-on-1 with Lashley as well. And hey, Dad, what's going on? How we doing? Living on the West Coast now. I'm interested in the six-man tag, Judgment Day versus AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan. Again, the 2-on-1 handicap match, it intrigues me. The Hell in the Cell has me hooked. I mean, that's the one there. Unfortunately, not into the triple threat match, Bianca. I don't see any titles necessarily changing hands. And actually, they don't even have the undisputed title. I guess they're not. This is more geared toward Raw, except for they threw on Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin in a no holds barred match. That's kind of piqued my interest just because of the change that we've seen in the Madcap Moss character now, the more serious. So I'm very interested to see because I think he has a lot of potential. And now that he doesn't have to be the comic guy anymore and he can go in and fight and do everything else, very interested in that. And we'll start from that match, actually, and we'll also give you who I think is going to take home the winners of the no holds barred match. Madcap Moss, Happy Corbin. Again, they were a tag team. Happy Corbin blames Madcap Moss for the loss. He takes Madcap Moss out. Madcap Moss returns on SmackDown this Friday. Different character, dressed in black tights, new attitude, and went crazy on Happy Corbin. And I think, again, this is a win for Madcap Moss just because it means more to him than it means to Happy Corbin right now. Madcap Moss needs this win to propel him whichever way he goes. Even if they keep him feuding with Happy Corbin, he needs to have a big win here at the pay-per-view. You've just changed his whole gimmick. You've changed his character. You've given him this aggressive side. You can't go out there and lose. You can't. Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel. This match, again, I like Kevin Owens. And look, Elias isn't bad or Ezekiel isn't bad. However, whatever you want to do. It's entertaining. The whole, Ezekiel's Elias and KO plays it to the 110 degree. It's perfect. It's beautiful. But the match itself just does nothing for me. Steve Chapman said, yeah, I hated Madcap before, but I think there's hope for him now that he's not as much of a client. Yeah. Then again, that's why I think he needs that win today. When you look at, Kevin Owens and Ezekiel here, it just doesn't do anything for me. This is a match I could watch on Raw. And Frankie Fresco, no way. It's Elias? Frank, you think it's Elias? It's not Elias, man. I've seen pictures. Ezekiel and Elias at a wedding, and they're side by side, man. It's not Elias, I'm telling you. Yeah, you guys just don't get it. Judgment Day versus AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan. Could they bring every pay-per-view so far, there's been a new member. Could we get a new member? Could we get that fourth member that they're talking about tonight? Could it be Balor? Could it be Styles? We know it ain't Morgan. So it's going to be interesting because, again, the last two pay-per-views has seen a new member of Judgment Day show their face. You had at WrestleMania, Damian Priest. And in WrestleMania Backlash, Rhea Ripley. Tonight, do we see that fourth person that Edge has been throwing out everybody? I think every WWE superstar has been thrown under there. So, but ultimately, I think Judgment Day wins this. Again, you're building the faction up. They need the win. The handicap match: Bobby Lashley versus Omos and MVP. I think there's going to be a lot of chicanery in this match. I think you're going to see Cedric interfere a couple times. You may even see Shelton Benjamin. Maybe, I think you're going to see a lot happen in this match. I think ultimately Bobby Lashley falls in this match because I think with the way they have MVP with Omos, I almost get the feeling now that they're going to start, kind of giving him that push up the ladder, and this way, a 2-on-1 match, you have a lot of people interfering. It doesn't take away from Lashley. And then you can kind of end the feud here, or, again, do you continue it at Money in the Bank? I don't see that. But I can see Omos. I can see a way that Omos wins this match. Let's see. That fight is so dumb. A handicap match. Come on, Omos is a monster, but he needs help. Makes no sense. Again, you have to remember too, though, that they're playing it off as he's very green in the business. He doesn't understand the business side of wrestling and things like that. So, again, ultimately, he's the almighty Bobby Lashley. Again, when you're playing into that, so I can see where some of it, you can call it dumb, however you want it. But again, the whole thing to get to here was that MVP had to beat Bobby Lashley in a one-on-one match, which he did by count out because so many people got involved. Lashley was beating people up outside the ring, lost track of the count. MVP wins. MVP gets to pick the stipulation, 2-on-1 handicap match. Put the numbers against Bobby Lashley. That's kind of how they're playing this story. Again, to put Bobby Lashley behind the 8 ball on everything so that the numbers are always with MVP and Omos. Which is why ultimately I think the numbers are going to be too much. And I think here's where Omos start and MVP starts that climb up. And we'll see them start, positioning, I think, possibly for a championship run. We'll see. And again, I'm thinking in, August, September, whenever they do the Clash of the Castle. My thought is that Drew McIntyre wins the belt. You have to position some guys to be heels to fight him. Omos seems the logical one right now. And of course, you always have your Kevin Owens, your Sami Zayns, your guys that you can put in there as well. But if you start building up those guys, you have Veer and Omos right there. You start building them now. By the time August, September roll around, now they're rolling. United States Championship match, Theory versus Mustafa Ali. This is the match to me that might take, might steal the show in a way because Theory and Ali can go. It is in Ali's hometown. It's his hometown. It's going to be in there. And we'll see. I mean, again, I know they're pushing Theory to the moon. So that's the only reason I don't think Ali wins the title. But I think you see a great showing from Ali, which makes this match probably between this and the 6-man. And then if the Hell in the Cell matches they go, those three, one of those three is going to be the match of the night, of course. I mean, I feel like this can really, steal the show for people that don't, think about this match as being a good match. I think this is the one that you might see possibly getting, a big social media blitz from wrestling Twitter. Sean, you think Cody giving it a go tonight, he might injure himself worse. But at this end, I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's a severe injury. By severe, usually means surgery. So as long as as long as he can go, and he's gonna have to get surgery anyways, again, it might take away from the match as far as it being, you might start with jumping him or something and then just, beating him down. Then he gets the fire back. He might not be able to do some of the moves that he normally does. But in Hell in a Cell, you can use the plunder. You can use, any kind of weapons. So yeah, he might injure himself worse, but is it going to be any worse than, him having to get the surgery anymore? Is it career threatening is what I'm going to say. If they don't think it's career threatening, I think you see Cody go. But ultimately, I think somehow during the match, or, you'll start seeing him maybe if it's his shoulder, say, he works on his shoulder so much that tomorrow night on Raw, Cody comes out and like, hey, Hell in a Cell, I may have won the match, but I seem to have lost the war. I have to go and get surgery. I'll be back in 5 to 6 months. You can write some things in as long as it's not career threatening. Now, if they're putting them in there and then, hey, it could be career threatening, that's idiotic. And I don't see them doing that, but we'll have to see. And again, I'm only going off of reports, everything I saw and have read from people that I, kind of believe could get some of the story. There's been a lot of stuff out there, but the two that I listened to, one of them kind of came out and said it looks like it was from when he was lifting weights. He ended up doing something, and then they pulled him from the event last night. So he didn't injure it more then so that he could go tonight. We'll see. Because again, WWE is a publicly traded company. So you throw somebody out there injured. We'll have to see how that goes. But let's see. As we all know, WWE is Walk with Ezekiel now. It's Walk with Ezekiel 90 MFC. You really think they're going to have Reigns drop the belt? They have done so much to build him up. Steve, I don't know that they have him drop the belt, but I can't see you having a champion. Maybe they go back to 2 belts or something, man. But your champion's only going to wrestle 4 times. And I get it. They've done it with Lesnar, but Reigns was the guy that was there every night in and night out, pay-per-view after pay-per-view. If he's not there, you got to have the title defended more than 4 times a year because you've made the other titles crap. This is the first time I think in a long time the U.S. title is being defended on a pay-per-view. You have made those titles so irrelevant that you can't even have them headline. I remember back in the days, the Intercontinental title could main event some of the smaller pay-per-views. You didn't have to have your heavyweight champion. Now those titles mean so little, they can't even open up a damn pay-per-view. So, yeah, they've done a lot to build them up, but at what point do you start? Look at Money in the Bank. Once it was Roman Reigns wasn't going to be there, it went from a stadium show to they moved it to the MGM Grand Garden. The Allegiant Stadium was scheduled to hold about 52,000. They had to move it to the Grand Garden Arena. That holds 17,500. That's worse than bad ticket sales. And it's not necessarily to keep him the champ. He has to be involved, but if you want your tickets to sell, they're not buying anything else. Hell, Money in the Bank is not. They had to move it. So let's see. Frankie says, well, Cody, especially since they have been pushing him, I think it would be bad if WWE did not have Cody fight. I think they're risking his health if it is a severe injury. Yeah, and again, it depends what it is. Because remember, Matt Cardona recently, tore his bicep and he finished the match. You can do it. Yeah, your arm's hanging there. There's certain things you can do. Again, in this type of match, you can gear the match around not having to use certain body parts. You're in Hell in a Cell, so you could sit there and just, it takes away from the match a little bit, because it'd be cool to see some, other maneuvers, but you can make it work inside of a Hell in a Cell match. If this was a one-on-one match, I think they scrap it, honestly. Let's see. It's sad. WWE shows more interest in 24/7 title or both. Yeah. 100%. Although that title's always been a comedic title. It was made up to make fun of what the Hardcore Championship was, which is why Mick Foley presented the belt. It was made up to, mock kind of what the Hardcore title was. And then you get what you got now, right? The 24/7. I know who is it now? Who is it now? It's Kira Tozawa, I think, right? Was he the last one that got it? He pinned Tamina, right, during that match. So, but you know the deal. You know what it is. It's just what WWE has done. They've made those titles. And again, are you trying to have Theory bring that U.S. title up? If he wins tonight, does it make relevant on the U.S. title to where you can maybe have it start, see if Theory can headline some pay-per-views? Does anybody buy that? I mean, again, Peacock is not a good barometer. I mean, people are going to watch the pay-per-view. So their rates are going to be higher because everybody's just watching it on Peacock. Nobody's having to buy it. If you have Peacock for $4.99, you get the pay-per-view for free. So, of course, people are going to watch it. Wrestling fans are going to watch it. It's wrestling. But when you're starting to move pay-per-views from venues, that's a big telltale sign that there might be an issue. Now, do you work it out with Roman to where maybe you give him more money to appear at some of these other shows? Or do you take the title off of him, put it on Drew, and hopefully... But again, remember, Drew was on the poster for Money in the Bank, and that still didn't put it over the top. So Cody was on the poster. There's a lot of people on that poster that when Roman wasn't on it, it's not selling. Again, I don't know what the ticket prices were either. I'm not in Las Vegas. I didn't even go online to look. I know that some of the ticket prices in some of the areas were pretty steep. So again, is it the pricing? Maybe. Do you lower the ticket pricing and stay in Allegiant Stadium? They said no. They went and said, Frankie Fresco, we can't give Elias a title shot. He's on vacation. Ezekiel, maybe. But Ezekiel has not heard from Elias since that wedding picture was taken. So we'll have to see how that goes. But Ezekiel's not a bad choice. If he beats KO tonight, he can move in there, challenge Theory or even Ricochet. So I mean, again, you got to give one of these titles some, and maybe it's you put one of the titles on. I know somebody was saying, maybe put the Intercontinental title on a bigger name. I think Ricochet is a good champion for the Intercontinental title because he can work, but we'll have to see. Nizzle, Cody all the way. We'll have to see if Cody can make it all the way to the pay-per-view. Because there are reports going around that he was injured. And actually, I'm going to check right now. We're about 2 hours or an hour and 5 minutes from the pay-per-view going live. The WWE kickoff show will be going live at 7 o'clock. Let me see Cody Rhodes' injury. Let's see what they got here. Okay, it says Dave Meltzer noted that Rhodes injured himself while weight training. The injury is thought to be a torn pec. As noted earlier, Rhodes had shared a photo of ringside chairs hype up fans for tonight's pay-per-view Hell in a Cell. So again, he's there. And they pulled him from the live show last night, but it looks like it's going to be a torn pec. And, man, I don't know. Torn pec, that's lifting up your arms. That's a lot of stuff you are not going to be able to do. Man, I didn't know. I was thinking like bicep or something like that. Torn pec, that's going to be very difficult to really work around. I've never had a torn, pec or anything, but I did have like an injury to my shoulder to where I couldn't raise it all the way up, and it hindered a lot. I was able to finish a match, but if I probably had to start the match, I probably couldn't have started the match just because it was injured in the during the match. I couldn't even lift my arm up. There's a lot of things I had to change, and fortunately for me, it was actually my left arm, which is not my strong arm. It was this arm where I couldn't lift it up. I was using this one because I could see it better. on the camera. It was my left arm, and I couldn't lift it up enough to do, but luckily my right arm, that's where you do most of your, at least for me being right-handed, that's where I did all of my moves from. So that didn't affect me. But if it is a torn pec with Cody, I don't know how they work around this. I mean, both of them are great workers. They're both professionals. But man, a torn pec, eek. We'll have to see how that goes. And I am watching it right now. I saw that I think it was it Uruguay almost got a goal, or at least on the replay I was finishing watching the race. Joey Logano just won the race in St. Louis. So now I'm watching a little bit of the Uruguay USA. It looks like they just ended. Do they end in 0-0 tie? They don't do, I know these are friendly, so I guess that's it. So they'll end it as 0-0. All right. Man, a lot of stuff going on in Kansas City and St. Louis around that area today. We'll have to see what happens. We'll be on for about another 3 or 4 minutes here. I want to get off and let you guys get to watch the WWE kickoff show, especially with everything going on right now with the Cody Rhodes injury. We'll have to see what happens there. Give me 1 minute here real quick. Peacock. I'm switching over to Peacock right now so I can be here in my office watching it, and then I'll slide out with my sidekick, my 105-pound American Bulldog Kane, who watches wrestling with me. That's who I'll be watching it with here tonight. But again, Dave Meltzer reporting Cody Rhodes torn pec. And if that's the case, I don't know. Again, I get it. I know they're both professionals and everything else, but I don't see how this match can happen, man. It depends if it's torn off of the bone or not. Sometimes they're clean tears, and sometimes, you got to go in and clean that up. Like I said, I've never had that injury. Let me see here. Let me see torn pec rehab time. If anybody's had a torn pec and you're on the text, let me know on the chat. Low-grade tears takes 4 to 6 weeks to recover, while high-grade tears can take 3 to 4 months. It's determined by the grade of injury, but how quickly it is not only determined by the grade of injury, but how quickly you heal after surgery. So again, it could be quite a little while. And then again, if it's only a low grade tear, it's 4 to 6 weeks. If he wrestles, tears it more to make it a high grade tear, you're looking at 3 to 4 months. And also a huge void for Raw, especially with how much you have been pushing Cody Rhodes. For this to happen now, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do here. Frankie, I don't know. I don't know what grade injury this is or anything like that. So we'll have to see. I wish, and WWE did acknowledge it, that Cody was injured. So, but they haven't said what the injury was, just that he was injured. The Hell in the Cell is over the ring now. I don't know if they're going to open them. They might open the show. They lose Cody. They already lost Randy. Yeah, but see, what I think might end up happening is, I think if Cody goes out, you see Randy come back in. I think you see them bring him back in. Again, I know the storyline was that he got, beat up by the bloodline and left kind of there for, he beat up and moved out. But ultimately, when you need him back, you're going to bring him back. So I think you will see if Cody is out for an extended period of time, I think you see Randy Orton. And honestly, will you see Randy Orton tonight replace Cody Rhodes? And another interesting fact was that Bray Wyatt tweeted out Wyatt, which is under the copyrights of WWE recently, and said very soon. So now that's got rumors going that Bray Wyatt may be returning back to WWE. Cesaro has been rumored to be leaning to coming back toward WWE. So again, does any of this change now the fact that Cody goes out? And again, this could all just be, Wyatt and them just stirring the pot right now, because again, right now, social media is like wrestling's, vortex right now. Right? I mean, everything's happening on social media and they're able to play it out. What is accurate is that Rhodes suffered a partially torn pectoral tendon while training, completely off the bone. Nonetheless, being the man and the competitor that he is, Rhodes has vowed to still face Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. So it looks like Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes is on tonight. They just said it on the pre-show kickoff. They acknowledged it, that he injured it during a workout, and he said that he is still going forward with the match tonight. So it will still be Cody Rhodes against Seth Rollins. Any word on Sasha Banks? There's been nothing on Sasha Banks. Nothing except what she puts out. She was at a concert, DJ Aoki was his name, in Vegas. She put that out. But there's been nothing, no movement on the sides. What's going to happen is WWE will keep her off TV and everything, be paying her low, whatever the low side of her guarantee is. And when the contract's up, they will probably let her go at that point. Or maybe then they discuss on whether to bring her back. Because again, I know everybody wants Sasha to kind of go AEW, but I just don't know how much more money AEW can be giving out. I mean, think about it now. They're paying CM Punk all this money, and now he's on the shelf with a broken foot. And now apparently there's another report earlier on that Bryan Danielson was not at a meet and greet because he was injured and he couldn't fly. So again, it's a business, man. It's a business. So I'm not sure how much, yeah, but they lost CM Punk, but they didn't lose his contract. They still have to pay him. And those guys, I believe, are under guaranteed contracts. So it's not like, with WWE, when you don't wrestle, usually what they end up doing is giving you the low side of your guarantee. They have a low side guarantee, so you make so much. If you're sitting at home injured, you make so much money. They're not paying you your full contract because you're not working, but you're making something. I don't know if the same things are in the AEW contracts or if they're just guaranteed you make this much money. So, yes, CM Punk is out, but he's still getting paid. Same with Bryan Danielson. Miro's just coming back. Jeff Hardy, apparently he got knocked out at the beginning of his match in the with the Young Bucks at the pay-per-view and somehow worked his way through it. And again, it's one of those things where AEW is always getting the brunt of those blows. Like, how can you have a guy that was knocked out cold at the beginning of the match still wrestling? You're putting other people at risk. Did you see how CM Punk got injured? No, but there's a lot of people saying it actually probably stemmed back to when he tried to do the buckshot lariat to Adam Page, the pay-per-views. I don't know if you saw them. He tried, I think it was twice, and both times he landed awkwardly, and then he was able to do it, but he landed if you watched his foot, it landed weird. It landed very weird. he wasn't showing any noticeable limps till the 6-man, which made no sense to have a 6-man there. But again, if you want your AEW, you want to put your champion in that situation. If he re-aggravated it there, I'm not sure. And then also what a lot of people didn't see was that after MJF, the mic went off and the lights went dark. CM Punk went running down to the ramp and out and chased after MJF. And MJF left through the he got injured on Wednesday when he tried to jump. I mean, it might be that too. But I think he injured it at the pay-per-view and he re-injured it when he probably did the railing. Because go back and look at him land on those buckshot lariats. They are terrible. I mean, he might have hit his foot on the rail too, but at the same time, I'm telling you now, though, that foot was probably already injured and just needed a little bit more to take it out. And that's probably where he jumped into the railing. And look, man, you let these guys run the asylum and that's what you get. That there's certain reasons why WWE bans moves. I don't necessarily say it's the right thing to do, but sometimes you got to protect these damn people from themselves. There's reasons why you don't do a lot of the, I don't get it. And if that's how he broke it, I think he injured it during the thing. And then maybe when he hit it on the rail, it re-aggravated, or maybe it did even more damage. But take a look at the buckshot lariats and see if you don't think some of those might have injured. I'm amazed he didn't blow out a knee, honestly. The way he landed. He landed almost like in a squat position with his ass on the ground. So we'll see. But hey, I want to thank everybody that's been on here. Frankie Nizzle, the deal, Dad, Steve, 90MFC. Let's see. And everybody else that was on there. Don't forget, follow me at Sean_standing11 on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be live tweeting Hell in the Cell, which is 50 minutes and 44 seconds away. So as the words of the great Gordon Soley, let me go back in the cage. So long from the sun, shine, state.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South